a few ways we gather our water here. These are glass carboys that we got from a wine brewing store in Sudbury. I bought the handles, the corks. These were used, so I bought these all used. Sometimes they sell off their surplus. So this is an option for some people. We also will throw some protection on these to keep the light out, because anything in water like algae and stuff of that nature needs light to grow. So this will keep the water fresh longer, stopping any light from growing anything that could be in there. But I've had this spring water out for a month or maybe longer, and I've had friends who their sits for 2 months and they've never had any change of color. So this just indicating how clean this spring water is. So we have this as an option. Your typical grocery store, this is good, better, best. These glass, if you can't find the big glass or it's too much for you to carry, these little single finger hold ones are great option. I think these are 5 liter. I can't remember the measurements. These are about 20 to 25 depending on the size. And then these you just get from the grocery store. So the reason we do our spring water in glass is because water is the universal solvent. So water is going to dissolve or create a osmosis with whatever it's put in. And glass is the cleanest form that we could use, because with plastics there was always the risk of plasticizers and phthalates and different stuff that makes the plastic pliable and not just rock hard that'll be dissolved in the water. But these have been used quite a bit. These are going to be for our dog, so you know we love him, but he's going to get a little more practical water for us. So yeah, these are great. I've done these in the car with life jackets as well. And another little tactic you can use is if you sit them in the seat of your car, if you pull your seatbelt out all the way, it should reach a locking mechanism. So I'll buckle in, I'll wrap around the top here, maybe around the handle, I'll pull the seatbelt all the way out, and when it retracts, it'll start to make a clicking sound indicating it's locking. That's a great way to travel with them safely and secure them in. These ones are great with the handle because I can lift it like this. It can be a little more challenging if you're not as strong or if you're smaller. And if you don't have the handle, then you're gonna have to hand bomb it like this. But these aren't too bad for myself and our family. I know some people that use water cooler jugs as well. So it can work with just about anything that you have in your vicinity. Just make what you have work.
What about gathering water if there's no tapped pipe? Any tips?
Yeah, so I'll give an example here. This one doesn't have a handle, so this is the most challenging one. And it's a larger mouth. I don't find too many of these ones when I'm buying used jugs. It doesn't want to come off. Don't drop it like that. Oh, and the top came off. So, when I first found this spring, it wasn't tapped like this. So a downside to a spring like this that's not tapped is in the spring runoff, a lot of the runoff from the roads nearby and off the hills will come in here, and it can get a little murky, which makes it less desirable, but it's still super clean water and it'll settle down. So one day I dug this hole, and luckily a local came by. So I dug this about as far as my arm could reach into the ground off this bridge here, and then a month later someone came and tapped it. So thank you whoever locally came and did that. So this one in the spring, summer, fall, you can have some stuff on top of the water here. That can be avoided by just dunking the lid underwater. The pool's a little lower than it usually is, so what I try not to do is disturb the bottom when I'm filling, and I also try to watch out for leaves and stuff that's settled on the surface of the water, so I'm not sucking into my jug. But worst case, if I did get anything into the jug itself, you could always let it sit, and the sediment will sit at the bottom. Usually it's pretty inert stuff in here. Nothing's gonna make you sick or cause disease or spoiling of the water. Usually it's just, you know, little pieces of leaf and whatever's floating around in here. So I would just place it in. I'll turn it for you guys. Place the jug in here like this. I'll let a little bit of water go in there so I can clean it out. Not being too aggressive with the way I drop it in and pull it out, so I don't disturb the bottom when I'm gathering the water. That way, if I've got a bunch of these jugs or other people that are waiting, I'm not murking up the pool. But in this case, we have the pipe, so we're really lucky here. So I guess a side benefit to coming to these springs for over a decade of, I've met a lot of cool people here. I've gotten friends and other people to drink out of this water, and I guess amazing experience of like having met people who've moved from larger cities near Toronto and come here with major health problems that doctors couldn't solve, autoimmune conditions, and they come out here and start drinking this water, and then all their symptoms disappear. That with, you know, changing their lifestyle, being out in nature, it's probably a big impact with all that. But seeing 90-year-old couples come out here, lots of senior people feeding this, feeding maybe not the right word, but giving this water to their cattle locally at farms around here, and just seeing the impact and how many people come from so far, hours away, to gather this water just shows how powerful and how much of an impact it makes in their everyday life. Yeah, like we do our cooking with this water, you know, if we're steaming vegetables, making broths, making any teas and drinks, all the drinking water is made this. The only way we're not using this is to shower and bathe in at this point. If we could, we would, but we're in the city right now, so it's just for consumption and cooking.
And what about the taste of different springs and developing that sensitivity?
Yeah, so we're lucky here in Canada where we're located. We're on top of the Boreal Shield, which is a geological rock formation here, which is, I believe, like a mile or 2 mile thick of granite. So in this area, the reason the water is so clean and so pure is the granite is such a thick rock. For this water to trickle down through that rock formation, get to an aquifer and come back up, it's essentially the ultimate purification system, the ultimate filtration system. And then in certain areas, the water is going to come up more hard. You know, it could come up with different gases. Water is already rich in hydrogen, like this water is, but it could come in with sulfur, other dissolved minerals in it that could give it a harder taste. Not far from here on Manitoulin Island, we've collected spring water, and it has a very rich mineral taste. It's just a little bit different. It doesn't taste bad, but it's just got a hardness to it that it doesn't hit the same as this water does. This is the best spring water I've tasted so far in Ontario from the ones I've located. I've found some way out in Crown Land, miles away from the city. I've been to many down south on road trips to Toronto, near Ajax, all over. If finding a spring is something you'd be really interested in, findaspring.com. It's created by Daniel Vitalis, a mentor of mine, and he created a free resource for people all over the world to locate and add springs onto a global database. Essentially, it's like a Google Maps overlaid with locations of springs, and people can put test results, they can put the directions, or, you know, things they've seen there, things to watch out for, all types of different info to each spring that's on the website. And it covers the whole world, so it doesn't matter where you're traveling in the world. It's a resource that you value yourself, your health, and really good quality water.